I'm going to expose the exact LinkedIn messaging playbook I used to generate 40 grand in cash collected within the first 30 days of launching my coaching offer. This allowed me to generate leads, book qualified appointments, and ultimately close deals with clients who I want to work with, who I know I can get results with. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to write messages that sound human, not like some sort of sales bot or chat GPT, how to structure your outreach so you actually cut through the noise, how to follow up without sounding desperate, and how to get more people to watch your looms and book calls with you off the back of them. So the very first step here is we want to write like a bloody human. And I know that might be a bit brass, but ultimately here, the goal is we wanted to start a conversation. I can't tell you how many times I jumped on meetings with leads and with qualified leads who said, I receive hundreds of these messages a day, but there was something about what you said that stood out to me. So to reinforce this, you don't want to write like a robot. You don't want to sound like a sales rep. You know, LinkedIn is not cold email. It's not email at all. It's not a cover letter, and it's definitely not your year 10 essay. So the goal here within our messaging is to keep it short, get to the point, use line breaks for readability, write like you'd text it, and use your actual tone of voice. Something that I see gets used a lot is that people just get ChatGPT to write their messaging, and it takes their own tone of voice and the way in which they would communicate completely out of it. And it makes it vanilla, quite frankly. And there's so much competition in the market that if you sound vanilla or you don't sound original and you're not authentic, no one is going to care. So just some examples of what to avoid, you know, hi John, hope this finds you well. Or we help companies like yours achieve 10x ROI. Touching based on my follow-up message or my previous message. You know, what to say instead is like, hey, I saw your post on, let's say, paid ads, and I think you've got a great take. I've actually got a question for you if you're open to it. Or you could go in with, hey, I actually filmed a quick loom walking through an idea. Or, hey, Connor, I was just digging through your company and noticed a mistake in your funnel. This is a good one because then it gets people engaging. The key point here, though, is that your message should feel like a text, not a pitch. All right. All we're trying to do within this first step is start a conversation. So if it feels like it came from ChatGPT or some sort of HubSpot sequence, bin it. We've ultimately got 2 to 3 lines to get their attention, and we really have to make it count. A message that we used that worked really well was like, Connor, I saw you're in said niche, let's say coaching niche, and I thought this might be relevant. We've just started a new weekly workshop that's helping coaches get more clients. We usually have around 10 people per call. Can I send you the link? We launched a workshop offer because what we found was our original messaging of going in and being like, hey, I'll send you a personalized loom was really just starting to get exhausted, and it wasn't generating the same results. So we've now switched our strategy to offering people into a workshop where we do a live breakdown of what we would have done in the loom. But that's for another day. We can jump into offers and that kind of jazz, but just so you've got context here. So step number 2 is don't pitch, actually give a shit about them. So what's wrong with telling people what you do? Your first message is not the time to explain your offer. All right, no one cares about you. The brutal truth here is that your prospect doesn't know you. They don't owe you anything, and they definitely don't want to be sold by some sort of stranger in their DMs. I'm sure your LinkedIn messages are flooded, your Instagram messages are flooded with people just pitching all the time. So taking a step back and really considering, who am I? How do I want to represent myself? And what's this person interested in or care about? What does my customer care about? Because they don't care about me just yet. So the first job here is to be useful, be interesting, be worth replying to. And this is why we started our workshop, because now we have something to lead with and we can give value. It's something they may be interested in, and it's not just going straight in for the pitch. So here's how to do that. Ask a relevant question, call out a common pain point they're likely facing, reference something that they've posted or shared, maybe if you have a case study, or even offer a loom or a breakdown of kind of what you see they're doing wrong and where you can potentially help. So some examples here, don't write like, hey Connor, I help businesses like yours scale campaigns using full funnel CRO systems. It's just boring. Everyone is pitching. Instead, we want to be like, hey, I noticed you're running, ads on TikTok and Facebook. How are you kind of tracking your performance? Or I saw your post on lead generation. We've helped a lot of teams do the same as you were talking about. Or even I filmed a quick breakdown of a case study where we actually helped someone achieve the same results in the same niche. The golden rule here is if the message doesn't give them a reason to care, rewrite it. The prospect should get to the end of the message and either learn something, feel seen, or be curious enough to reply. All right? Don't sell. We're just starting a conversation here. Moving on to step number 3, we want to make it personal. All right. Anyone can copy and paste the same message and send it to 1,000 people. The goal here is that we want to be hyper specific with who we're targeting. So do your research on, is this person my ideal customer? do research about them and really look at how you can personalize this. A lot of people just copy and paste the same message, but this is ultimately what's going to get ignored. You're sending a message to another human, so ultimately just treat it like that. I think we've really missed within the digital space that we're actually just speaking to another person. So whether it's personalized voice notes, whether it's talking about stuff that they've posted or they're interested in or where they're working or what they're working on, make it about them. As if you're meeting someone at the bar or out or at a business conference, like what would you ask them? How would you engage the conversation? You're not going straight in for a pitch, that's for sure. And I kind of want to just break down quickly why personalization matters. It proves that you're not a bot. It shows respect for their time, and it stops you from sounding like every other tool in their inbox. All right, personalization here is the cheat code. Even lazy personalization is better than none. Even if you just have their name in it, it's better than just copying and pasting a message with no personalization. So what counts as personalization? Well, their name, obviously, something specific about their company, maybe a recent post they made, a campaign or ad they're running, their job title, or anything kind of unique that you can see within their profile. So an example of this is like, hi Connor, I saw we have mutual connections and wanted to reach out. Whereas we would probably frame it like, hey Connor, notice you just rolled out the UGC campaign on TikTok. I love this angle or this creative. Are you guys testing that still, or are you looking to scale it? Something to note here is that if you're messaging your dream prospect, like really spend time digging and finding that ammunition. All right, study them, watch their content, listen to their podcasts, quote their own words back to them in the loom. That's how you're going to cut through ultimately. Now, step number 4 is going to be steering clear of automations. Of course, you can automate this to make your life easier, but it's obvious when it is, okay? It goes against LinkedIn's terms of service. We don't want to get banned off LinkedIn, ultimately, because that's our platform we're doing outreach on. And outreach leads to sales, and sales are the lifeblood of any business. So we want to minimize the risk of us getting banned or taken off platforms which help us drive business. You know, this is where people spot generic phrasing, they see the same messaging sequence, and just that fake personalization that doesn't really work. Because if it's actually your ideal customer, you should be willing to spend more than 60 seconds to actually just do some research and really write like you give a shit. It takes longer, but it works. This is that relationship first sniper outreach approach. And it's ultimately why we had the success we did within the first month of launching, was because we really went, who is our ideal customer, and dug into their profiles. What's their business? What are their potential challenges? What are they doing or not doing? And where can we potentially help? People can smell automation from a mile away. They see the same message 50 to 100 times in their inbox a day. Like I mentioned, every single person who I've jumped on a call with has said that they receive hundreds of messages a day, but there was something about our messaging that stood through, and that was why they ended up on the call. So the key point here is keep it manual, keep it personal, and just keep it authentic to you and your messaging and who you actually want to work with. If you're going to go to the extent of doing this at scale and, you know, trying to bring in automations, that's when I would suggest making the switch to ads. We like to think of LinkedIn as like our sniper platform. We want to target our ideal customer and spend that time developing the messaging that fits them and suits them. Moving on to step number 5, don't just say following up. This is absolutely criminal. Like if someone hasn't replied to you, you want to check in, you want to follow up, but don't ever say just following up. It's lazy, it's pointless, and it screams that you have no idea what you're doing, and ultimately it's kind of desperate. Ultimately, your follow-up needs to offer something new. Nobody wants to be followed up with. They want value, they want relevance, they want to be seen, and they want to feel like you're not just chasing them for your own benefit. Every follow-up must earn its right to exist. That means sharing a new angle, a new observation. We've got a heap of different references in here for you to take some ideas. And when we come down to what I would consider lazy follow-up, it's like, hey Connor, just checking in to see if you had a chance to review my last message. Instead, it's like thinking about what you said around paid attribution. I actually recorded a quick Loom that breaks down kind of a hybrid setup we've been working on. Want the link? You can see here that instead of just checking in, we're going, hey, this is what you're interested in. I actually just shot a quick video breaking it down. Are you open to me sending across the link? Again, we're leading with another opening question. We're leading with value. We're not pushing them towards anything. Moving into number 6. So use Loom like a weapon. Loom is not just like a nice to have. It's the centerpiece of everything we do. So we run 2 different channels at the moment. We either push people to a workshop or we do a personalized Loom, or sometimes we even just do both. Sometimes we even do the Loom before the workshop so that they can come prepared and they've been nurtured prior to even jumping on or engaging with me. But Loom works really, really well because video builds trust fast. Like you're watching this video here, you can hear how I communicate, you can understand how I think, and then you can ultimately get a feel for me as a person. So it makes me real, It shows that we did the work. It's hard to ignore. It's hard to do an AI video, Loom video at the moment. And it just makes you harder to ignore ultimately. See, most cold outreach feels robotic. Loom flips that. See, they can see your face, they can hear your voice, and it's personalized. If you start your Loom on the very page of their website, like, what a good thumbnail. It's like, of course you've shot this video for them. The other thing is it just doesn't make it about you. The Loom is not, here's what we do. It's not a slide deck. It's not a TED talk. Ultimately, what we're doing within the Loom is, hey, we noticed this. This is why it potentially would matter to you. Here's what could be fixed. Here's what you could gain because of fixing that, and why it's worth 90 seconds of your attention. The ideal Loom length is about 1 to 2 minutes, anything longer, and it just kind of starts dragging. But we really just want to engage them, hook them in, almost like an ad. Think of Loom like a personalized ad. Again, we want to make it personal. We want to mention their name, reference their funnels, their sites, their ads, show them that we actually care and that it's not just like a generic Loom that we're sending across to people. Now, some of the call to actions at the very end are like, hey, I filmed a quick Loom. It's 2 minutes. Let me know what you think. Another one may be how to look through your platform and spotted a couple of things. I've shot a Loom here if you're curious. And then obviously our third approach down the bottom. Now, moving on to step number 7, messaging sequences that actually work. Now, if your first message doesn't get a reply, don't worry. This happens all of the time. I've put a note here that some of our best clients actually came from the 3rd or even 4th follow-up message. So don't give up and don't start begging. We follow a sequence where each message has a purpose, and we want to build trust and curiosity or add value through each touch point. So we go through 2 variations. Variation 1 is warm first, then widen. So start with a personalized Loom, then maybe an evergreen Loom, a voice note, and then another video. Or the other variation is double down on personalized. So once you've sent that personalized Loom, send them another one. Again, making sure that the thumbnail of the video is their profile, their website, their funnel, so that they know this is actually about them. It's not just some generic Loom that's been seen by 500 people. Ask if they want one fully tailored, going into more depth, hitting them with a voice note, and then even just a final Loom going over the urgency or social proof. In the social proof circumstance, talking about other case studies or examples of people you've worked with who are similar to them. The goal here is don't force every message. If you've got nothing to say, then just wait. We want to focus on quality over quantity. Something that we've honestly been introducing lately is memes. And I find memes can be good, whilst this kind of defeats the purpose of like, hey, we're just following up. There's a bit of humor to memes that I do like, and we're introducing this more. So if you've sent 1, 2, 3 messages and you've heard nothing, then definitely look to introduce the memes. I think or the GIFs, they're a great asset. Step number 8 is example messages that don't suck. So obviously you want to contextualize these to your niche and who you're targeting, but these are just some references and examples that we've used. So like, hey Connor, I saw your post on, let's say, coaching. I've got a quick one for you. I've got a couple of references here. Pause the video, take some screenshots, but you can see like we've just got different variations. So Connor, we've worked with X person in your space. Would it be cool if I sent a 2-minute Loom explaining how we achieved Y results? Or we've got here like, hey Connor, you mentioned topic in posts, made me think of a team we helped with that. Filmed a quick Loom to explain. Again, some of our follow-up templates after you've sent the Loom is not sure if you got to the Loom, just flagging it. Easier to explain than this, type quick voice note incoming, then to type. Again, some other messages then to follow up after you've sent the Loom. Moving on to step number 9. So this is now post Loom follow-up. So you've sent the first message, maybe they've engaged with you, you've sent a personalized Loom. Now they've ghosted you. Oh no. What do we do then? So if they've watched you, but ghosted you, here are a couple of message sequences for you to send across. If they've watched it, liked it, but did nothing, so they might send a message going, hey, thanks for sending this across. This is great. Then ghost you. Here are some references. And if they watched but didn't act, they watched it, they messaged you and just didn't do anything, here are some other references as well in terms of messaging. Now, number 10, how do we handle objections that don't suck? So most objections are just smoke screens. We want to stay calm, keep the convo alive, and just make sure that we're breaking them down and we're focused on our objective, which is getting them on a call. All right. We want to give enough information where they feel like we're not gatekeeping everything, but at the same time, we want to create enough curiosity where they do want to jump on a call. So if they go, now's not a good time, no worries. When? Do you mind if I nudge you, in a month or even next quarter? No worries. Mind if I flick you over a couple of case studies so you can see what we're doing? If they say we've already got someone for that, we've got a couple of references here. So, are they actually helping you solve the problem or are they just kind of managing it? No worries. Are you still open into another way of potentially hitting your outcome? What's the cost? This is my favorite question of all time. Flipping it back onto them where it's like, no worries, we actually have a couple of different options. What's the goal? Like, what are you looking to achieve? Is it 100K, 200K, $1 million? The other one that's a bit cheeky, that's like, when they go, what's the cost or what's the price? You go $1 million, just joking. If it's all right, I'll actually just send the pricing across to you. Have you got 15 minutes so I can just run you through it? Now, section 11, this is our bonus bank, and these are just more templates that you can steal. The brutal honesty play. So it's like, hey, no idea if you're the right person, but I spotted a gap in your ads or a mistake in your funnel or this on your website. I can just film a quick loom. Worst case, just ignore it. Again, this one's a pretty harsh one. It's a bit controversial. The curious as hell. So spotted something weird in your ad. Want me to show you. The subtle flex. So we were helping a client, or we helped a client last week fix this issue, and it helped them achieve X result. The Ghostbuster, so if someone's watched your loom and they just disappeared, saw you watch the loom, you're either swamped or you hated it, want me to take another crack, not sure if this landed or bombed, want the version I almost sent instead. Again, we're just being cheeky here, like being okay with just messaging with a bit of personality. Now, here are a few more in terms of the initial message, follow-up, and then objection pullback that you can just implement. Again, tailor these to your niche. So we've got some more initial messages. We've got some more follow-up. Pause the video here, take a screenshot of them and rewrite them in your tone of voice. And lastly, here are a few more. Step number 13 is that not all prospects are equal, so not speaking to them the same. So what I wanted to break down here is that cold prospects are strangers, people who have never spoken to you before, never engaged with your business. In this aspect, we do also want to qualify. So are they relevant? Do we have confidence without pushiness? And then using personalized looms to highlight pain points and showcase case studies. If they're a warm prospect, they're someone who's engaged with your content, they've watched your loom, we want to look to build curiosity, add value, and just show the attention. Here, it's important to reference the interactions, offer the next steps, and we can really ask sharper questions about pushing them through the funnel because they're engaged. And likely a hot prospect is someone who's come inbound or been referred to you. In this circumstance, we can just go straight for the call, go straight for the close. Usually if they're coming off a referral or they're coming inbound to you, they already know who you are, they know what you offer, and they know how you work. Lastly, number 14, here are just some red flags to avoid, and these are common mistakes that I see within LinkedIn outreach. Overwriting, so writing long love letters or paragraphs. Hope you're well, it's just no one cares. Sounding like a bot. Asking for the call too early or trying to push them into an action too early. Following up, like if you're just following up, again, we went over this, but like it doesn't add anything and people just get annoyed. Wasting the first line. The same way, if we were to write an ad or we were to create a video, we need a good hook. You need a hook with your messaging as well. And we've gone over some of those templates and examples. Using corporate jargon, whether it's omni-channel, ROAS, just keep it normal. We're speaking to another person. Using any sort of kind of emojis and then hiding the CTA. Now, to conclude, just do this properly. Don't try and use automations. Don't try and outsource this. I mean, you can eventually, but build the system, get the numbers, make sure that it works, and then you can go and outsource to your team. But really, the checklist before you hit send is, am I talking like a real human? Is this message personal or just generic slop? Does it actually offer value or just chase a reply? Is the loom doing the heavy lifting? And would you reply to this if this landed in your inbox? And if it doesn't pass those, then just start again. It's never going to be perfect the first time round. I always push that just start getting your first couple of messages out. Track if you get responses. If you don't, do enough volume. So do 50 to 100 messages and then change and then adjust. And use a sample pool of 50 to 100 messages every time where you go, okay, here's my opener. And if you don't get a reply from, let's say, the 100 of them, then change. But make sure that you're constantly evolving, you're tracking your numbers, and you're putting in the work to make it personalized. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next